So Smissmass is finally here, and of course we get a bunch of brand new maps for Team Fortress 2. And for a game that has little to no support anymore, it's really nice getting these little small package updates, at the very least during the holidays. Because we can always reliably get some new content, some shine on some new community created content with Smissmass and Scream Fortress, which is always nice. It's no heavy update, but it's the best that we can get right now. So for this video, I'm going to be ranking and reviewing these maps, and deciding which ones should actually stay year-round. So let's get to it. Now, starting off with my least favorite, it has to be Frosty. Now, this is where my opinion might be a little bit divisive, because the way that I like to rank maps is based on how people usually tend to play it in the TF2 community, especially hyper casually. I don't ever really like to think about the competitiveness of a map, because that's not what the majority of the players think about when playing a map. They just think about how fun it is. And I believe that Frosty kind of deviates too much away from the CTF formula to actually be a strong contender for being a good CTF map. I think Frosty just has way too many corridors, it has too many, directions of movement and stuff. There really isn't a place where all the action just culminates. There's just these little mini arenas around the map, which I think, it's a good, unique way to differentiate the map from other maps, but I don't think it works in its favor. When you think of the staple CTF maps for TF2, Double Cross, Two Fort, Turbine, Landfall, you can really picture, the two bases and the center of the map, the arena. Frosty really just doesn't have that. And I think that really just, hurts the map. I don't think it's going to be one of those that's going to be remembered. I think it's a little bit generic, and then the gameplay doesn't, fill up that spot for me. So to really summarize the map, it's just way too corridor heavy. There's no real point of interest. It's a capture the flag map that doesn't take into account the way people play capture the flag in TF2, at least in a really casual setting. And because of these reasons, it doesn't make me feel like I want to play this map for hours on end. I can only really play for 10 minutes and then I get bored. Next up we have is Frostcliff, which I don't think is a bad map at all. It's pretty average, but that's all it really has going for it. I feel like we've already played this map before. And I think the name of that map is Chili. They really are kind of similar maps at the end of the day. But unlike Chili, Frostcliff doesn't really have anything interesting going for it. Chili does have that final point with the giant pit at the end of it. And the reason why I think that is because Frostcliff takes a lot more inspiration from maps like Gold Rush, those older payload valve maps, compared to something that's a more refined version of the payload style, which is, Badwater, Upward. There's a lot less chokiness to those maps, and they have a greater play space. But the thing is that Frostcliff just doesn't have that style. Instead, it has the other style, and it just makes it feel a lot more generic. It's obviously a really good casual map. I'm not gonna knock it for it. I'm glad that we have a lot more to play with, but at the same time, it could have definitely, done something a little bit different. Frostcliff is just nothing to write home about, in my honest opinion. I've also noticed that every time you capture a point, a huge chunk of time is added to the timer, which, it isn't a bad thing for a casual map, but at the same time, it kind of shows that there is something bad with the map if it really does take more than 8 minutes to capture one point. Again, it's probably because of how choky the map is, but that can either be a good thing or a bad thing for you. If you really like those choky, casual payload maps, then you're gonna enjoy Frostcliff. The only issue is that I don't think it has anything unique on top of that. Next up, we have Frostwatch, which, okay, so this one is gonna be a little bit contradictory. I don't think Frostwatch is a good designed map. However, I do think it is the most unique map in this map pool. Because just like the rest of the other maps, this map takes design inspirations, I think, and I'm assuming, from a lot of the older Valve TF2 maps, where they're just really choke heavy, there's a lot of corridors, there's little to no flanking options, and most of the fighting is done in these boxy rooms. And this map is really choke heavy, all the rooms are extremely small, and even the points are in these little boxes. This is definitely something that's more akin to a map like Fastlane. If you've ever played Hydro, then you can also understand that kind of really small chokiness of the map. The point is that this map is very chaotic, it is very claustrophobic, and you're really going to spend a long time defending because of just how small these corridors are. Demoman and Soldier are dominating on this map, and I think that's what fuels to its casual nature of it. It's not an easy map by any means, but the skill ceiling is just so low that you're really not gonna do much on your own. You're really going to need an Uber to push through those chokes, and I think that's what the biggest problem with this map is. However, it is still the most unique map in this package, and I think it earns a couple of points for that. It's a multi-part map, and you have a gravel pit scenario in one of those parts. Is it a great map? I don't think so, but it is very chaotic. It is something that just stands out. At the very least, I'm not bored with Frostwatch. I can get a little frustrated with it, you know, having to deal with spam galore and those goddamn hallways, but at least it keeps me awake, right? Anyways, finally, I think the best map in this package that we received for Smissmass 2022 is Rumford. Again, the map takes a lot more inspiration of style to something like Gold Rush compared to Badwater. It's again a very choky kind of map. The map, it really isn't that big. You're not really gonna have a big room to fight in anywhere, but at the very least, you know, there is some space. The visuals aren't the most inspired thing in the world. They're kind of basic, honestly, and that's not a case against this map specifically. I don't think any map in this Smissmass update actually looks that good. I think the snow just makes it visually bland. But aside from that, it's a decent payload map. I had fun with it. At the very least, it's a very competently made map. Now, as I say that, I do have to say that a lot of the map is a little too inspired from other maps. I personally thought that the map looked a lot like Hoodoo when I first played it. I actually thought I was playing Hoodoo for a second there. But at the very least, it changes enough for it to be, you know, something of its own. So at least take home the fact that if you like Hoodoo, then you're gonna like this map, and I do like this map. I don't think it's terrible. It's nothing to write home about, but honestly, I do think that this map is the best out of the package that we got this year, and I wouldn't mind seeing this map again throughout the year. You know, it's a competent map. It's something that I think people are having fun with. It takes heavy inspiration from other maps, which, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. In fact, even try to reuse it, I guess. Point is that if I do end up seeing it year round, I'm not gonna be pissed. I'm not gonna be the happiest either. I wish we could have gotten some better maps, but all in all, I think Rumford is the best map of this year. Now, you might think that I might have forgotten about Coal Pit. I haven't forgotten. It's just Gravel Pit. It looks fine. Nothing to write home about. Anyways, that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. The order of the maps from least favorite to most favorite goes as Frosty, Frostcliff, Frostwatch, and Rumford. If you found this video interesting, like it if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it. If you'd like to see more content just like this, make sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel, I do have a Patreon in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.